In the boundless weave of existence, where stars are but syllables in the greater celestial existence, there exists a hidden chronicle, a lore of judgment, older than time itself, whispered through the folds of the ethereal. This is the Seven-Universe Judgement Lore, a cosmic testament to the great struggle between light and shadow, will and chaos, purity and perdition. Long before the birth of galaxies, the loom of fate spun threads from the spiritual evolution of humans across planes, both seen and unseen. It is within this great loom that the laws of reciprocity were etched, and from its resonance rose the Furies, terrible embodiments of wrath, vengeance, and ancestral retribution. Yet, alongside them danced the fairies, radiant spirits of joy and purity, guardians of divine harmony. This Lord does not speak of only myth. It is a mirror casting its reflection into the heart of man, where wars and chaos are kindled, not by weapons, but by corrupted thoughts. Demons are not born, but formed from the spiritual decay of humanity's own desires. It is the tale of Obre, of Jafda, of the golden sword forged on Patmos, and of the perilous law of homogeneous attraction that binds souls to their kindred essence, be it luminous or accursed. In this age of purification, where the ancient seals tremble and the Furies once chained now roam anew, every soul stands at the edge of reckoning. What was once law becomes prophecy, and what was once prophecy becomes judgment. Let this be the opening of the seal. The whole existence is one gargantuan loom, but because many have not worked with the substance from the ethereal, they have not been able to open the inner eye. In many a higher realm, there is that feeling of lightness where only light souls dwell, where there is mutual upbuilding. These realms of light are the highest one can find in the world of matter. They belong in the fine ethereal. Only in the seven-universe are good and evil allowed to coexist, albeit it is where progress is also easier and faster. In the ethereal world, only people of like nature dwell together. In the etherealized, yet slow and ponderous regions, only chaos reigns. Many of these men of violence are always together, living out their scrupulousness in what seems like eternity. Yet, in the finer realms, wars rage, actions to protect the gross material universe which we now dwell in. This has been on from the early days of Jafda, when he had to fight the earliest demons within this universe. With his sword given to him on Patmos, with it he slew those forms of decay, confusion and fear. The demons are connected to the realm of thoughts, so they can affect the thoughts of men, suggesting fear, envy, and hate. Besides that, a demon can overwhelm a man to unconsciousness or death. The wars fought over time in history have always fed the strength of demons who relish the blood radiations of man. In the battle of Kurukshetra, we learn about the Rakshasas and all the demons evolved in and influencing physical battles, yet of these demons, due to their devastating effect, have been chained like Obre has been. Demons, as many of you already know, are not really living beings. They are inspired expressions, meaning expressions of dark and evil thoughts, which, if fed or nourished by analogous thoughts over time, become strengthened. About this matter, the Book of Seven Seals says that the volition of man gathers ethereal substance to form that which is relative to his thought. These thoughts, feeding from a power center of analogous thoughts, over time become living as though they linger. Yet another thing happens. They are noticed by essentiality, the creative essence flowing through from on high, making sure everything is alive. These demonic entities do not and cannot possess the divine spark, but eventually in the stream of essentiality, they seek up animistic souls. This was the case with neglect, dirt, and stagnation, which brought forth pests like mosquitoes and cockroaches alike. Therefore, these could be so dense that they walk, they live, and are seen around us. Some of these entities have lived and strengthened over millions of years and have become gods and goddesses with a formidable cult following. One of the worst and most far-reaching, strengthening over millions of years and hard to destroy, almost indestructible, are the Furies. The Furies, known in mythology as the three goddesses, were uncountable and still are. Man, in his attempts to appeal to the rules of storytelling, or due to his limited ability to see what is beyond, has narrowed these entities down into three. The Furies tormented Orestes because he committed matricide, the killing of his mother, Clytemnestra. In ancient Greek moral and religious frameworks, especially in the older Daunic ones, justice represented by the Furies and blood crimes within the family were paramount. Even though Clytemnestra had murdered her husband Agamemnon, Orestes' father, the Furies did not regard that act with the same intensity because it did not violate a blood relationship. The strict and ancient sense of justice focused on familial blood compelled them to pursue Orestes. His crime, though arguably just because it was an act of vengeance, was still a gross violation in their eyes. It wasn't until the trial in Equalus, the humanities held on the Europhagus and presided over by Athena, that the new paradigm of justice emerged. The court acquitted Orestes, ushering in a legalistic, rational justice system that superseded the old emotion-driven vengeance of the Furies. Athena persuaded the Furies to accept a new role as Humanides, the kindly ones, protectors of civic justice and patrons of Athens, thus integrating them into the new order. The Furies were avengers of crimes, especially within the family: matricide, patricide, fratricide, oath-breaking, and blasphemy. Sprung from the blood of Uranus when he was castrated by his son Cronus, according to Hesiod's Theogony. Some accounts also trace them to Nyx, night, intensifying their Daunic primordial aura. The names and so-called personalities of these Furies so-called goddesses, these Furies are Alecto, the thought form representing uneasy anger; Megara, the thought form of jealousy and envy; Tisiphone, the avenger, thought form of murder. By way of iconography, these Furies are often portrayed with serpentine hair, wings, and carrying scourges or torches. They wear terror incarnate, black-robed, relentless, and guilt-inducing. From terrifying spirits of vengeance to honored protectors of justice, their transformation symbolizes the Greek cultural shift from tribal blood vengeance to civic institutionalized justice. But unbeknownst to them, a great helper, the judge of mankind, lived among men and had leashed the old Furies, living the newly birthed thought, volition of a race which expressed such a unanimous and thus powerful will for upliftment. This is a true story, now shrouded in myth. This, however, goes to show that with divine help, man can influence these Furies, if only man will be virtuous and strong-willed. For in all the climes, nothing changed about the true nature of these Furies as long as man nourished them with their evil volition. In the world today, they drive people to even attacking them for not exerting vengeance. And if they do not have a strong shield around them, these Furies overwhelm them, relative to what vice they of their own free will have nursed. These are Furies and are not created by the divine Holy Spirit. The Iliad clearly shows they lack thoughts of their own and that they can be manipulated by a strong will to do right or wrong. The Furies were originally entities taking on form from the spiritual volition of those slain by their relatives, strengthened here by the analogous thoughts of those still in flesh and many others gone before and after. Their madness for vengeance became so all-pervading they were mistaken for goddesses. Unlike many thoughts forming through the intellectual evolution of men, the Furies are created with the intuitive volition, given that spiritual strength and immortal power. The main creative spiritual volition of man is stronger than his intellectual thought, the spirit being the divine spark. It's a more sustainable force, more enduring and powerful. When the spirit wills evil, it does not at the same time seem as that of the mind, for it has a fleeting evil thought, because it's just the mind, while with the latter, power can strengthen and can also fizzle out if unfed. The former is living, strengthened by light forms. Thus, after the Obre unveil came the dawn of evil and the principle of letting oneself go, operating in the ethereal environment of man. The Furies went wild, causing wars, instigating vengeance upon people, causing strife. It has become funny when men speak against wars, not knowing the war starts within man. Every wrong thought, every hate, prejudice from each individual culminates into the war. To change the world, man and woman only need to keep their thoughts pure, for as soon as they stop nourishing evil thoughts, pure will wade away all impure thoughts, and in the realm of demons and phantoms, only benevolent entities shall exist, bringing peace and love to all peoples. For in the law of reciprocity, every thought connected to you, when most unexpected, returns and overwhelms you. In this time of purification, the Furies are released. It does not matter at what incarnation one has formed the Fury, strengthening the horde. They are released and coming back to each one. Therefore, let change be constant, for with the change for the better, when the Furies once bound to you for an evil you perpetrated millennia ago, may not be able to penetrate the shield of the environment of your changed personality. Never can the Furies shake the spiritual roots of one who abides by the divine laws. Many a judgmenter observes how men and minions of the darkness try to force the Furies on one who no longer swings on the same vibration with them. This is simply because the one time and at one time all the other, everyone except those on a mission like the judge of mankind was guilty of feeding the Furies. The fall to this Fury character is the fairy. Fairies, on the other hand, are glowing essentials, ever gleeful within the harmonious loom of creation. They are full of harmonious songs and rhythmic movements. Upon hallowed grounds, and where men have guided the fountain of their thoughts to float and dally, spreading joy and purity. However, the Furies, having existed from the days of Obre, from the days of his wrong will, have become living and revered even as goddesses. Driven by the darkness, they subvert the order of reciprocity, albeit having no sense of judgment, but charging after the ethereal environment of the perpetrator of murder, or even an evil relative to their very nature as Furies. Over time, the Furies have been bent to exert vengeance at random, the judge of mankind. In one of his incarnations had them to contend with. Having killed a man in self-defense, he stood firm against them and went unscathed. To keep the earth in control, the judge of mankind leashed these Furies, awaiting the time when the free will of man will be taken, so that all that cannot be saved may taste of their wrath. The law of attraction of homogeneous species pulls together those who may indulge in chaos. And now, in the purification, the Furies have been unleashed. The seven seals and the crown of becoming sing the universe, not in harmony but in tension. Light and shadow pulling at the warp of eternity. The Furies scream through the veils, scurrying the souls that once gave them form. The fairies, in their joy, hover above the fountains of the pure-hearted, offering reprieve. Yet the truest battle remains within, for every war on earth, every bloodletting in time begins with a silent choice and the secret tribunal of thought. The judge of mankind stands not as a tyrant, but as one who knows. His sword is discernment, his arm of mercy, guided by law. Let the spirits guide their gates. Let every man cleanse his volition. For what one births in the unseen shall one face when the veils are lifted. In this age of returning echoes, may you be found crowned, not with furies, but with light. Thus is the seven spells spoken. Forgive my mispronunciations. Subscribe to this channel.